Today, Wednesday, the 11th of December 2024, we have some handpicked match predictions to share with you, which will be backed up by some stats and analytics to help you make your picks in this list to boost your winning by a greater percent. And to those of you who want to have access to our handpicked events, which we share to members only, based on our list of top 10 or top 15 events for 1.5 and 2.5 goals, as well as corner kick match prediction events with huge odds to take your winning to the next level, then of course you want to make sure to join the level 2 pro plan to start to have access to all of these to take your winning to the next height. To those of you who want to join, the link is below this video. You can click on it directly and subscribe to become a member of the level 2 pro plan to start to have all of this access. So without wasting time, I'm going to begin with the first match pick of today's list. Looking at the first match prediction pick, we'll look at Bolivia in the professional league, a match between the strongest against Tomayapo. For this event, the recent game played by the home team, the strongest, have proved to be very offensive. They've had games, especially in the LFP, which is in the Divisional Professional, as you can see here, and the offensive power have proved to be very good. His opponent, on the other hand, is not very good in terms of goal scoring, and the defensive line is not that very tough. Looking at the recent game they just had, you're going to see that they have met this same here 3 times. And out of these 3 times, you're going to see that Tomayapo have lead 2 of the times, while the strongest just won this same here. Of course, based on these, we already have something in mind. But first, I want to share with you the recent stands performance in terms of form, so that we are going to see the home performance of the home team. You're going to see that the strongest, when they're at home, they are very offensive and great. Out of 5 games they have had, 4 lead has been recorded, 11 goals scored and 4 conceded. But that of the opponent, on the other hand, based on the way game played, you're going to see that Tomayapo, on the other hand, proved to be very weak in defense recently based on recent game they have had. And looking here at everything in place, we want to look at 2 major picks in full time. For this particular event, the performance of the home have proved to be very offensive, especially when they come at home. And since based on the recent head-to-head, which they have met 3 times, and the away team to Mayapo have lead twice, of course, the strongest this time being in very good shape and form, will try to see how they try every possibility to lead in full time. And since the defensive line of the away team is not that very tough, of course, the home team want to take advantage of that weak defense to lead this game in full time as one of the major picks, as well as we want to look at least 1.5 goal to occur in this match in full time, our major picks. Looking at the next, we want to look at, that is in the Europe Champions League, a match between Atletico de Madrid against Slovan Bratislava. For this event, looking at the home team Atletico de Madrid in the La Liga of Spain, you're going to see that they are very offensive. Recently, they had games and they proved that the offensive power of Atletico de Madrid is very good in the La Liga. Bratislava, on the other hand, in the NL, that is in the Slovakia, you're going to see that the performance also proved that their offense is good and they do concede. But the power of Atletico in the La Liga proved to stand on a better place as compared to Slovan Bratislava in the other side. And of course, looking at the stands, based on recent games they have had comparison of the table in terms of form by the standing, we are going to see here that Atletico de Madrid, which is the home team, proved to sit here on a better place as compared to that of its opponent, especially. Let's look at the home and look at Atletico de Madrid. Based on the home performance for Atletico de Madrid, you're going to see that the seat here, let's give a very little time while this try to load. And of course, looking here, Atletico proved that based on recent gameplay, the defensive line has not been very great based on this particular gameplay. And looking at its opponent, on the other hand, we are going to see that Slovan Bratislava, which is the opponent, sits right here based on this line. And looking here, you're going to see its defense is not that very tough. They are very weak in defense. And looking here at everything in place, we want to look at 2 major picks in full time. For this particular event, of course, the line play of Atletico de Madrid, based on recent events they have had for this particular tournament, have proved that the defensive line is not that very great. But of course, they are coming to meet a team which is lower in the league as compared to that of La Liga. because, of course, Slovakia is not of a greater league or better league as compared to Spain La Liga. So Atletico de Madrid, in recent performance in the La Liga itself, have proved to be very offensive. They are going to bring this form this time, and since the recent play of the past event for this particular tournament have proved that Atletico de Madrid has not yet performed that great, of course, it is going to try every possibility to try to see how they can stand in an impressive position, to try every possibility to lead this game, as well as the possibility of at least 1.5 goal or 2.5 goal to occur in this match in full time. So we are looking at two major picks or three here. First, Atletico de Madrid to lead. Second, the possibility of at least 1.5 goal in full time. And thirdly, 2.5 goals to occur in this match in full time are our major picks. Looking at the next here, we'll still look at this time the Champions League women. Wolfsburg women against Roma women. The performance of Wolfsburg women based on the Bundesliga of Germany women have proved that the offensive power is very strong. They have also had major events, especially in the Champions League women against teams like Galatasaray women, where they had a 5-0 win. The offensive power of the home is very weak, is very strong rather, as compared to that of the away team Roma, who also proved that they're also good in scoring, even though they do concede as well. And looking at the recent head-to-head they just met not that far ago, Wolfsburg played at away and Roma lead by 1-0. Of course, the home team, Wolfsburg, will also want to take that revenge in this particular gameplay since this is the fifth round. Looking at this form table, of course, you're going to see that Wolfsburg have proved to be very good in terms of recent gameplay, especially at home, where the offensive line have proved to be good. But Roma, on the other hand, based on the way game played, you're going to see that the defensive line is not very strong, that is tight, but the offense is also good. And looking here at everything in place, we want to look at two major picks in full time. Looking at these two sides, all the two sides are good at offense. And since the defensive line is not very tight, they'll want to impress. And the fact that both of the two sides want to impress, the high impression rate is going to cause more shots on and off target, resulting to goals probability. So I want to look at the possibility of 1.5 goal to occur in full time as one of the major picks, as well as the possibility of 2.5 goals or 2 goals over. These are our major pick for this particular event. 1.5 goal in full time. 2 goals over or 2.5 goals in full time. Looking at the next, we look at Europe Champions League. This time AC Milan against Crvena Zvezda. The performance of AC Milan in that is Serie A of Italy have proved that the offensive line is very good. They have had major game played where they mostly had lead, and that of its opponent on the other hand is also very good offensive line in terms of recent gameplay they have just had. And of course, these two teams have met, you can see in the EL, which is the Europa League, far back ago. This time they're coming to meet based on recent performance of the stands. We want to look at the comparison of these two in terms of home and away gameplay. AC Milan, which is the home, as you can see here, have proved that they are good at offense, even though Crvena proved that the offensive line is also good. But also AC Milan at home proved that the offensive line is good. But let's check at Crvena based on the way. And we are going to see that Crvena, of course, on the other hand, based on the way performance, you are going to see that he has shown the way is not that very tough in terms of defense. And looking here at everything in place, we want to look at two major picks in full time. Looking at this, even though the way have proved that the defensive line is not very tough as compared to that of the home, where it's also having a good offensive, defensive and offensive, of course, both of the two sides will still want to impress. And the fact that the impression rate will be high here, more shots on and off target is going to occur. And of course, we are looking at 1.5 or 2 goals over in this event in full time, since both shots on and off target will be more, resulting to high impression, and therefore goals probability is what we want to look at in full time. 1.5 goal as one of the major pick, or the possibility of 2 goals over. If it doesn't exceed 2, then we have a refund. Looking at the next, we look at Arsenal against Monaco in the Champions League. Arsenal recently in the Premier League of England have proved that they are very offensive, as well as they have had major events in the Champions League against strong teams like Sporting, where they beat Sporting 5-1. Monaco, on the other hand, have also had games with Benfica, where almost a draw here, 3-2. The goal possibility was huge. And of course, looking at the recent game performance in terms of stand, comparing the form, Arsenal, which is the home based on the home game played, proved to sit right here on the 12th position, where the defensive line have proved to be more locked. But that of its opponent, on the other hand, based on away game played, Monaco, you're going to see that the defensive line of Monaco is not that very low, but of course, it's just average. And looking here at everything in place, we want to look at two major picks in full time. For this particular event, of course, both of the two sides want to impress, but Arsenal on the home team proved to have a more defensive line. And even though the offense will want to be great, but the away team Monaco also want to impress. As a result, we don't want to give a direct win for Arsenal as the home team, but looking at least a double chance or draw no bet for Arsenal. In other words, if Arsenal had a win, we win. If it had a draw, we still win, or to give it a double chance. But of course, the odds for double chance will be really small. So want to give a draw, no bet for Arsenal as the next option for this match in full time, rather than looking for a direct straight win. So these are our major pick. The home to have a double chance or draw, no bet for the home team. Looking at the next, we'll look at Champions League, Dortmund against Barcelona. Barcelona, of course, based on recent gameplay they've had, have proved that the offensive line is good, and Dortmund is also a good team based in the Bundesliga of Germany. Barcelona, on the other hand, is also a good team, and looking at the recent performance of the gameplay they have had, comparing the two in terms of stand, the home team, Dortmund, at home, have proved that they are very good in offense, even though the defense is also tight, and Barcelona, on the other hand, is also a good offensive team, and the defense is not very locked. And looking at everything in place, we want to look at two major picks in full time. For this particular event, both of the two sides want to impress, and the high impression rate is going to cause more shoots on and off target, resulting to goals probability. So we want to look at 1.5 or 2 goals over in this event in full time. Looking at the next, we look in the Champions League, Feyenoord against Sparta Prague. For this event, of course, Feyenoord have proved to be a good offensive team. Scoring capacity is also very high based on the rating. That of Sparta Prague also, on the other hand, have proved to be a good team, especially in the Czech Republic First League, where the offensive lineup have proved to be great. Resulting to the stands comparison of these two, Feyenoord, which is the home team based on home gameplay, proved that its home performance, of course, as you can see here, proved that Feyenoord, as you can see here, the defensive lineup is not very tight. But of course, Sparta Prague, on the other hand, proved that based on the away game, its offensive line have proved to be good. Based on Feyenoord, but Sparta Prague, based here, you're going to see that the defensive line is also not very tight at the way. And looking at everything in place, we want to look at two major picks in full time. For this particular match prediction event, of course, both of the two sides defensive line is not very tight. And the fact that the defense is not very tight, there will be more impression here. And since the defensive line is weak, therefore there is the probability of goals to occur. And since both sides want to impress, we want to look at least more shots on and off target, resulting to the possibility of 1.5 or 2.5 goal to occur in this match in full time. So we'll look at two major options. One, the possibility of 1.5 goal in full time. Two, the possibility of 2.5 goals to occur in this event in full time are two of our major picks. Looking at the next here, we looked at Europe Champions League women, Chelsea women against 20 women. And looking at these, of course, the performance of both sides have been proved to be very good. Chelsea have been very good recently in terms of the ESL, which is the Super League of Women of England. And they've also had games recently in the Champions League as well with strong teams like Celtic, where they had huge wins. That of the opponent as well, 20 have also proved to be very offensive based on recent events they have had. And recently, they have met this same here, where Chelsea lead by 3-1 at the way. This time, Chelsea is coming home. And the probability of 4 goals ended the last head-to-head, they just meet. These two still have a very great form, and they are still coming to meet. Looking now therefore at the stands, based on the recent events they have just had, you're going to see that based on the stand, Chelsea at home proved to be very offensive. You can see 6 goals scored for 2 events, and the defense is also just average. That of 20 as well, on the other hand, based on the way game played, proved that the defensive line is not very tight. And looking at everything in place, we want to look at two major picks in full time. For this particular event, of course, Chelsea still have more offense. And since they are coming home, the last head-to-head lead to the possibility of 4 goals, while Chelsea lead by 3-1. Chelsea still have a very good form, and the defensive line of the away is still weak. Therefore, we want to look at Chelsea to still lead, but the possibility of goals is always the safest. And since the away defense is not tight, the possibility of goals for Chelsea to give goals against its opponent will be high. And Twente also want to take revenge, since in the last head-to-head, they had a lose by 3-1. This time, they also want to impress. And as a result, more impression rate will cause more shots on and off target. As a result, there will be the possibility of goals here, at least 1.5 go in full time, or 2.5 goals to occur in this match in full time. And to those of you who want to have access to a handpicked event based on upcoming games for the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with huge odds, which our top 10 and top 15 lists will share to members only, then you want to make sure to become a member of the Level 2 Pro plan to have access to all of this with huge odds to take your winning to the next level. To those of you who want to join, the link is below this video. You want to make sure to go ahead, click, navigate, and join as a member of the Level 2 Pro plan to start to have access to all of these to take your winning to the next level. Good luck and see you again in the next upload, and bye-bye for now.